Hey, good people. This is your host Niraj of My Good Place. This is just a bonus episode before we officially start the season 2. I want to take a moment to say a proper goodbye to 2020. First of all, Happy New Year to you all. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. 2020 has been a challenging year to say the least. And today I'm not here on your feed to talk about how much of a shit show 2020 was. Instead, quite the contrary, actually. I want to appreciate 2020. I know I might sound rather eccentric, but if you are following the show for any given amount of time, I always talk about perspective, and this is one of the perspective of 2020. Now, if you don't have time for my explanation why I appreciate 2020, I will sum up in 3 words: confrontation of reality. I believe in so many ways 2020 made us confront many topics that we had been neglecting, maybe even taking some of the things that we've been taking for granted. So let's start. Let's address the elephant in the room. COVID-19 or corona. By the time of recording, there are over a million deaths worldwide and counting. Over a million deaths by a disease which we had not even heard of about a year ago. So let's just sink that in. We all know somebody who died or seriously got ill of COVID or got infected. So it is it kind of shows how life can change 180 degrees just like that. We take so many people in our life for granted, but it's really when something like this happens when we get to prepare and appreciate what they mean to us. It confronted us to the fact that life is not to be taken for granted. 2020 also gave us a glimpse of effects of climate change. And yes, just a glimpse. Remember 2020 began with Australian fire? We still have a palpable taste in our mouth. And there were more bigger wildfire outbreaks on the west coast of the United States. It was so massive, the sky was red and it was raining ashes. It felt like apocalypse on its own, and I hope I hope I could say that was all, but it certainly was not. We had record number of hurricanes on the Atlantic and the Pacific, tornadoes. We ran out of fucking alphabet to name them. Now, even more funny thing was it was predicted. It's really sad to be honest, but it was all predicted. Scientists had been crying their lungs out about these effects of global warming and climate change. It was just a teaser for what could be following if we do not pay attention to climate change, if we do not act now. So, this was another confrontation to nature and the reality. Feel overwhelmed yet? It's okay, we all did. I still do. So just know it's okay to feel overwhelmed. So 2020 also confronted the most fundamental issues that exist in the United States of America. The American systematic racial oppression and discrimination got exposed to not just the people of the USA, but to the entire world. How black, indigenous, and people of color have been treated as second class citizens here. How there are laws to prevent people from certain racial ethnic communities, especially black, not to succeed. To so the entire world understood and kneeled on the solidarity and said Black Lives Matter. In America in 2020, people finally started talking about race, checked on their privileges, and emphasized on not just being not racist but becoming anti racist. 2020 confronted us, well, I rather said this one's the toughest. It also confronted us to many Karens among us. And speaking of Karen, there were or are who do not wish to wear a mask. People who deny wearing masks are mostly people who deny corona is even a thing. So 2020 exposed those people who do not care about the safety of the vulnerables, who would rather put their comfort first. In the United States, it became a political issue. And briefly, while I'm on the subject of politics in the States, the whole world was anxiously watching the United States presidential election, anxiously looking if Donald Trump gets another go. And we all know the result, which was a close race, 74 to 70 million votes. And right there is another confrontation of reality on its own for Americans. I want to wrap up this bonus episode because 2020 felt prolonged for a reason, and those were just a few things. And uh, clearly, that's just not it. I didn't even touch on the murder hornets, uh, Beirut's blast, Yemen's crisis, Armenia Azerbaijan war. Okay, how many did you know there was a legit war between these two countries in 2020? Yep, and the spike on suicide rate all over the world, the downfall of economy, so many lost jobs, India's farmers strike, and so many more. We also lost celebrities who were very near and dear to our heart. Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Diego Maradona, Alex Trebek, Sean Connery, Eddie Van Halen, and so many more. Finally, I'm not saying that all happened in 2020 was good and we have to appreciate it, but it is something we have to appreciate from our bad experience. We all went through it. We cannot take things for granted. We are not superior to nature. We have to listen to the science. We are stronger when we are united. Please take care of yourself and your mental health and help and support the people around you. Stay safe and Happy New Year's.